All right, let's go ahead and talk about flexible dieting and why it may be the better option for you to follow in order to lose fat and keep fat off. So, flexible dieting, for one, is going to reduce cravings and prevent binge eating. It's going to prevent that yo-yo dieting lifestyle. So, one thing that a lot of these diets have to offer is a lot of people will start following that plain old chicken and rice diet, and you can only do that for so long. You can only eat just chicken and rice and broccoli and green beans, tilapia, sweet potatoes, oatmeal, eggs. Right there, I probably just named off all of the foods that you're able to eat on most of these diet plans, these plain weight loss diet plans. And you can only do that for so long before eventually you're going to want to break, and you're going to want to have, a Pop-Tart or cake or cookies or something sweet, that's just something that you crave. And all this does is lead you to binge eating, because what happens is you hold yourself back for so long and you try to follow this chicken and rice diet for so long and prevent yourself from eating these sweets that you like, before one day you break and it's going to cause a binging cycle where you just go way overboard in eating way too many cookies or way too many Pop-Tarts. So what these diets just promote are binge eating. So why not be more flexible with your diet and fit these foods that you enjoy so much into your diet, and find out a way to make sure that you're still not going over your calorie intake for the day, and you're still not going over your set number of macros for the day. This is going to help you develop a healthy relationship with food and allow you to add a lot more variety to your diet. We have the classic yo-yo dieting cycle where you go on the diet, you deprive yourself, and you lose the weight. Eventually you fall off, you end the diet, and revert to pre-diet eating habits where you're eating, the sweets that you probably shouldn't be eating. And this is going to allow you to put on weight again. And that's going to make you feel miserable and heavy again. And then you're going to stop everything and try to go back on the diet, to where you're depriving yourself of all these foods that you want to have and that you like and that you crave, before it's just a constant cycle of depriving yourself and then going back to the diet again, and then going back to your poor eating habits and then trying the diet again. And it's not a very healthy cycle to follow. So flexible dieting is allowing yourself to enjoy the foods that you like, using moderation, fitting sweets into your macros. Now, how is this done? For one, you got to understand weight loss all has to do with calories in versus calories out. Macros are calories. So 1 gram of carbs is equal to 4 calories, 1 gram of protein is equal to 4 calories, and 1 gram of fat is equal to 9 calories. So as long as you stay within your macro set, you will be able to stay within your set number of calories for the day. So say someone has a set number of 2,000 calories that they're going to hit for the day, and that's going to put them in a 500 calorie deficit. Well, they're going to build those 2,000 calories up of a set number of macros, again, proportioning those macros out to where maybe they have, 100 grams of protein and 60 grams of fat and 200 some grams of carbs. Well, as long as they're hitting those macros, and as long as they're staying within that set number of macros, they're going to stay within that set number of calories. Now, understand that sugar does not make you fat. There is no direct correlation between sugar and fat gain. It's just the lifestyle that a lot of people who have high sugar diets follow that makes you fat. So a lot of people that eat a lot of sugar usually are not taking in a sufficient amount of fiber, and they're not really eating protein with each meal that they eat. And on top of that, if you're eating a lot of sugar, you probably could care less about what you look like. So you're not going to be really exercising on a daily basis. And this is all going to lead you to start putting on more fat. So as long as you are taking in a sufficient amount of fiber, which is usually about 20 to 40 grams for most people, and you ensure that you're using moderation. So again, just by default, you're going to have to be eating these quote unquote clean foods, such as the rice and the sweet potatoes and the vegetables. Just by default, you're going to have to revert to eating most of your calories from these clean foods, because again, you need to make sure you have a high intake of fiber. And where do you find fiber? Well, you find fiber in these quote unquote clean foods, such as all your greens, all your vegetables, all your sweet potatoes, your potatoes. These all have a high source of fiber, so you're going to have to revert back to just eating those types of foods in the first place. Now, every once in a while, if you want to throw a Pop-Tart in there, say you have a lot of carbs that you're able to hit for the day. If you want to throw a Pop-Tart in there, you want to throw some pizza in there, something that's really high in carbs, and you want to throw that in there, as long as you're still hitting your fiber intake for the day, you're allowed to do that. Also, ensure that you're having protein with these types of foods. A lot of people that fear sugar mainly fear sugar because of the high insulin spikes associated with this. And they revert back to the glycemic index, saying that anything high on the glycemic index you should avoid because it causes high insulin spikes. Now, understand that the glycemic index is only measured off of an empty stomach and only eating that food. So, say for example, only eating a sweet potato will spike your insulin levels oh so high. Now, when you're eating a sweet potato with, let's say, grilled chicken, right? A protein source and fiber is going to blunt the effects of high insulin spikes, so it almost washes out the effects of the glycemic index and all. So understand that when you eat protein and keep a sufficient amount of fiber in your diet, you're going to blunt the effects of any high insulin spikes. So you're able to fit those sweets into your diet every now and then. And also make sure you're counting your macros and you maintain a calorie deficit, and you will for sure be losing weight off of this.